Elon believes that we could be living in a simulation. Do you ever think about that?
Well, that's an interesting idea, and it's being promoted by a philosopher at Oxford, actually, called Nick Bostrom. It's very hard to disprove.
It's Richard Dawkins,
and
right?
Nick Bostrom thinks it's not only hard to disprove, he thinks it's highly likely. His version of that idea is that the simulation is not a different life form on another planet or something, but is our own future. Right. That our own
it's pumped to have this
future, which may be artificial intelligence, reaches the point where it makes a simulation of its own past, of the process that gave rise to it, including us, including the whole of evolution, including us. And it is hard to disprove. I've even thought of a wrinkle on that. When I would pull out my phone to my 102-year-old mother just before she died, and would do things like ask Siri something, or show her a map of where she was born, or something she was. But how could all that information be in that tiny little thing? Well, it's not in it. It's in the cloud. It's in a computer in California or somewhere, and the information is brought into this little tiny thing in your pocket. If Nick Bostrom is right that we're living in a simulation, it is a bit of a baffling mystery how the human brain, this very small skull, can manage to do so much. I mean, when you think about what it can do, which computers can't do, maybe it gets its information from a cloud. If we're in a simulation, there's no reason why the information should all be inside there. It could be in the giant computer that's running the simulation.
Okay. This is good because Richard Dawkins is, number one, a lot of people may not know, he's like the foremost thinker, scientist, but also atheist.
Right.
So he's debated probably more Christian pastors and or apologists than any other philosopher or thinker. But he makes a few notions in this video. It's my first time seeing the video, but you and I have seen a lot of videos of Richard Dawkins in the past. One of the things that you'll notice about Richard Dawkins is he's ferociously anti-God. If you look at his stuff, I mean, just absolutely.
He's like an apostle of atheism.
Oh yeah, like he has an absolute disdain.
Like he has a mission.
Oh yeah, but
which makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm an atheist, I care less what anybody believes. I'm just going to eat, drink, be merry, and get as much pleasure as possible before I die and check out.
But here's his thing. There's two big. This is the newest one because obviously Elon Musk, a few others, they've made simulation theory a big deal, which is the reality that right now this is not our reality. That this Matrix is basically the Matrix.
Yeah.
Neo and everything like that. We are in the Matrix. We're living in a simulation.
Or Westworld.
Any other thing. But
or a video game like that one game with Ryan Reynolds that just came out. Free Guy.
Yeah. Which everyone loves to talk about it, right? Because the simulation theory is a big deal. So we make movies about what we're fascinated with. Ready Player One, all that stuff like that. Ready Player One would have been a precursor to the head towards simulation theory because it's still virtual reality or in real world. But here's the thing. Before this conversation, Richard Dawkins was always fascinated with the idea of intelligent design, that aliens, just like a Predator movie, if you watch any of the Predator movies, how I forget which is the one where the aliens come and then they plant the seeds and the genomes on Earth and then it multiplies and that's basically how it created us. Okay. You haven't seen that one? It starts with like a P.
Prometheus.
You know what your name? Prometheus. There we go. So the movie Prometheus that teaches how we got here on Earth, right? Which is intelligent design theory. Is aliens, they took an amalgamation of them, an amalgamation of it, like an ape or an animal, and they put us together into genomes, and then they planted us here on Earth. Well, Richard Dawkins loves to have that theory. He loves to talk about it. You can look it up online. He loves the possibility that aliens came and put us on this planet and duplicated us, right?
Right.
Hates the idea that God created us, right?
Like, and he talks about it with anger and a frown on
disdain.
His face. This guy's talking about simulation like,
and he has so much joy.
It's a possibility. It's like, bro, like, bro, like you're giving more credence to that theory than you are the existence of a God.
And he's saying it's irrefutable right now, simulation theory, like, which is crazy, Elon.
And you can
says
say
it's
the same thing
irrefutable
about
too.
God, but he doesn't give credence to that line of argument. Like, because you
got a
can't
thought.
disprove God either.
And I got a thought. I'm going somewhere. So,
Uh-oh.
no,
Where are
it's
we
not.
going?
It's not that profound, but I led up to it too much. But you're right. So, his amazing thing is, so now because intelligent design is like, that's been the debate, at this point since the Renaissance era. So they've been talking about, not God, but maybe aliens. So now you have Richard Dawkins, who've kind of seemingly moved past the idea of intelligent design and now says, well, let's just stop there. We don't even have, because if you believe we're in a simulation, you have to believe that there's something outside the simulation. So their theory is that we're thousands of years in progression already. And right now we're living in a matrix theory, like we're in a simulation.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of possibilities running all at once and stuff like that. But there is a higher society outside of ours that has placed us in the
like
simulation,
Westworld.
right? Just like Westworld, right?
Yeah.
So he's like
You
totally.
still need a programmer.
He won't talk about that though. Like, who then's the programmer, and where's those people, and but it's irrefutable,
Yeah.
But what I love is like his in statement, which with a lot of scientists, it's all theory. That's what a thesis is, right? And then they work to prove their thesis. And right now he still has a thesis. He's saying all working proofs that he's tried to disprove this theory are irrefutable. So he is leaning towards, I think there's a simulation. But then he says something incredibly profound where he says, what I imagine is we are so complex and our brains seemingly are so complex. What if we really aren't that complex and something is living in the cloud and it just gets downloaded to us? But if I go to talk to him about the proofs of the Bible and I say that God, by the power of his Spirit, downloaded this information to give us the Bible, that's just foolish. That's what he would
it's
say.
the same argument, though.
Exactly.
It's the same exact argument, but he wouldn't see it that way. But it is.
Because the collective consciousness of human history has affirmed a deity, number one, and then you have the collective consciousness of Christians and monotheists. So you would have to assume under if he ascribes to simulation theory.
Phones off, vibrate, silent, Phil.
I know, man. I was just about to freaking
Feels like it wasn't me.
win the Nobel Prize.
God was just
freaking thought, bro.
The cloud.
I was about to create an original thought that no human being had ever come up with before, bro.
The cloud was downloading something right now, man. The cloud.
Anyways,
shaking my
gosh, what are you guys doing for lunch after today? So if he's ascribing to simulation theory, he would have to give credence to the fact that the belief in God is a part of the programmer's design, the simulation. So it must be important. And so why is that? Anyways, but the whole theory. Yeah. My biggest thing with Darwin.
Darwin. I got issues with Darwin too.
With Dawkins. With Dawkins is like just the logical inconsistency with him, like the way he approaches this theory with like so much enthusiasm and like optimism and credence. He'll never give that same energy to the possibility of a God. He's very angry towards that. And so the question is, why is that?
Yeah.
Like if God doesn't exist, why you get so angry about it? And why have you set it a life's mission to prove that God doesn't exist? And that you think the world would be more ethical if everybody believed that God doesn't exist, because that's the main emphasis of his argument over the years is that we need to stop believing in this foolishness called God in order to be a better humanity and become more moral and become more ethical. That's his whole argument, and it's taken almost the form of a religious zeal and fervor because its basis is morality. Yeah. He thinks that not believing in God will make us more moral. Yeah. Well, good luck with that.